This is Susan coming to you from my front porch this morning. So if you hear some ambient noise in the background, we'll just deal with that. We're going to do a short seated practice. This is something I would do at the beginning of a slow flow class, which is what I call my style of yoga. So we'll be kind of flowing in and out of things with our breath. So let's start with that breath. Let's start with a nice tall spine, lifting our heart up toward the sky. We can place one hand on our belly, one hand on our heart, and just stop and notice your breath. Notice how you're breathing. You may still feel a little rushed and a little bit of a hurry to get to your mat today. So we're going to start to slow down that breath. So on the inhale, let your belly expand. Inhaling, and let the chest rise. Maybe you hold it for a second, and then just exhale it all out. So we want to be breathing in through our nose. Let's try that again. Belly expands, chest rises, and then you can exhale out through your mouth. Sometimes that feels good to let it all out. Inhaling. And maybe one more together. Inhaling. Let it all out. Good. Let's just shake out our hands a little bit. Oh, and come to rest. So I am sitting on a blanket. I like to sit on a blanket because it helps lift my hips a little bit, and then your knees can drop down. It's just a little easier on the hip flexors. I also have a block. You can use a book or something similar, and I have a strap. And you could use a bath towel or a bathrobe tie or a man's tie or anything like that that's long and thin. So we will be using those as we go along today. Let's come back to our breath, just inhaling. This time, a long, slow exhale out your nose. And inhaling. And long, slow exhale. One more inhale. And long, slow exhale. So the long, slow exhales are what tells our nervous system to slow down, to lower our blood pressure, to slow down our heart rate, to increase our digestion, and to get out of our fight and flight that we seem to go around all the time. Let's take our hands out to the side, and we're going to inhale up, lengthen each side of the body, reach it up, and then turn and exhale it back down. And inhaling it up. You can look up if it doesn't hurt your neck. Exhaling it back down. One more big inhale up. And this time we're going to drop one arm down. So if I'm going that way, you just go that way too. And we're going to take it over to the side. Feeling that stretch up the whole side of the body. Maybe you pull your elbow back a little bit and look up at the sky or the ceiling. On the next inhale, let's rise back up. And exhale, drop the other hand down and taking it over. So feel that stretch coming all the way from your hip, up your waist, your ribs, your shoulder, out your fingertips. And inhale up. And then lengthening the spine, we're just going to reach our hands forward. Let them come down to the mat in front of you. And you can walk them out just a little bit. Just find a place where you're feeling some stretch in your hip joints and in your lower back. And then you can drop your head down. Just feeling that nice stretch, starting to open the hips and the lower body a little bit. And then let's slowly walk the hands back. Roll the shoulders a couple times. That always feels good. So notice which foot you chose to put in front, and we're going to extend our legs out for just a minute and just kind of windshield wiper back and forth. Good, and then cross the other leg in front. And it might feel weird because you're used to sitting one way. All right, so this time we're going to come into a twist. We're going to inhale both arms up and then take your opposite hand over to the other knee. Bring the other hand back. Make a little kickstand back there with your fingers. Inhale, lengthen up nice and tall in your spine, and then exhale and look over your shoulder. Let's take an inhale here, and exhale out. Now look back to the front of your mat and slowly unwind. And let's take the other side. Inhale up, exhale the other way. A little kickstand behind, looking over the shoulder. Let's inhale up. Exhale, maybe you twist a little more. And looking back toward the front of your mat, and release. And then we inhale up, and this time we'll stretch out over this leg in front. So it may feel different. Maybe this side feels easier, or maybe this side feels harder. Just find that place where you're feeling some sensation, then you can drop your chin. Take a deep breath and exhale out. And let's walk those fingers back up and extend the legs one more time. Kind of bounce your knees a little bit. Windshield wiper, just getting some movement in the joints. So we're going to flex our feet up and then we're going to point them down. We're going to flex them up, point them down. Flex them up, and this time we're going to bring your big toes in to touch, and then take your pinky toes out toward the mat. And big toes to touch, and pinky toes. Good. And then just bringing your feet straight up. Notice if you can hide your heels. If you can hide your heels behind your ankles, then you know you're in really good alignment. You're going to feel that and kind of engage up in the inner thighs. Lifting our heart, pressing down with our fingers. Shoulders on our back. So we call this Dandasana, staff pose. It's a foundational pose in yoga. And from there we're going to release the hands and inhale up. And then slowly hinging from the waist, reaching out like you're trying to reach way past your toes. And then just let those hands land wherever they need to. So this is our first forward fold. So you may still feel a lot of tightness in your hamstrings behind the knees and in the lower back. So this is just like check in, see where we are today. See where we are. Good. And just try to soften. And just walk your hands back up. So we're going to take one leg and bend it in. I'm going to put the bottom of my foot right along my inner thigh there. And if you want to grab your strap for this part, you can. So we're going to do a single leg forward fold to further warm up those hamstrings. So if you're using a strap, you're just going to take it and put it right behind the ball of your foot. Come up nice and tall. And then we want to lead with the heart. So reach your heart forward. Maybe you walk your hands down a little closer. If you can reach your own foot without the strap, then you don't need that. So pulling the toes back. This leg is nice and engaged. My kneecap is pulled up as I reach forward. Folding over the leg. Let's take an inhale and try to lengthen our spine a little bit more. And then exhale it over. Stretch, never going to the point of pain, just where you have some sensation. And then you can release that and rise back up, release the strap. And we're going to come up nice and tall, stretch both arms out, and we're coming into a twist. So opposite hand to that bent knee, let the other hand come down behind, and then we're going to look over the shoulder again. So just another way to work a little bit more twist in to the routine. Good. And then from there, we're going to float that back arm up. We're going to take it up, and we're going to come into a side bend. My front arms just kind of pivot around, reaching toward my ankle. So nice side opening. Maybe I turn and look. Maybe I can pull that arm over my head a little bit more. And rising back up. Now we gotta do the other side. So back leg out and bring this leg in. Bottom of the foot toward the inner thigh. And taking your strap behind the ball of the foot. Lifting your heart, knee engaged. Reaching forward. Maybe you walk your hands down a little bit. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, fold over. And releasing your strap, you can walk yourself up. And we'll come into twist on the other side. So big stretch, opposite hand to the other knee. Take your hand behind and look over the shoulder again. And then floating that back arm up. Front arm's going to reach toward the ankle, taking it over. Big inhale, lengthen and fold. Good. Rising back up. And this time let's gather both feet and bring the bottoms of our feet together. So we call this a Baddha Konasana, a bound angle, or sometimes we just call it a butterfly. So you'll notice if you pull your feet in really close, you're going to feel it much more in your inner thighs. If you have your feet more out like so you have a diamond shape, you're going to feel it a lot more in the hips and the outer thighs. So you can decide, or maybe you just want to be in the middle. That's fine too. You can decide where you want to be on that. So my hands are on my shins. I'm going to lift my heart, reaching forward with my heart. Maybe my elbows can go to my inner knees. And I'm going to reach out over my feet. This is a nice inner thigh and hip opener. And then you can drop your chin, rounding the back a little bit. And with an inhale, maybe you lengthen out. Lengthen it out. And then exhale it over again. And releasing that and roll yourself all the way up. Let's come back to a cross leg again. You can pick which leg you want in front. And we're going to start to move our spine a little bit. So this is basically called a cat-cow. Some people do it on our knees as well, but we're going to start it seated. So the idea is to move every vertebrae. So we want to lift our heart, lift our chin, and lift our tailbone up in the back. That's our inhale. And then as we exhale, we pull our navel in, we round our back. And we inhale, lift our heart, lift our chin. And we exhale. One more like that. Lift your tail, lift your heart, lift your chin, and round everything the other way. Good. Coming up nice and tall. So now we're going to turn that into a circular move. So we're going to reach our heart out over one leg, reach it to the front, reach it to the other side, and then scoop your belly and round it to the back. We're just making a big circle. Sometimes we call it stir the pot. Reaching forward. If you add some arms with it, you go reaching out and back. Let's reverse and go the other way. You can add the arms if you like, and back, and reach, and back. One more big one, reaching out.